Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. It's Allison. Today I'm sharing with you a new scrapbooking layout. It's going in my 6x8 mini album, and it was created using the Currently Story Kit by Ali Edwards. I had multiple photos that I wanted to scrapbook for this particular story. I knew that I wanted to keep this photo that I'm trimming down right now full size, so that would be 7 inches by 8¼ inches. And then the other photos that I wanted to print, I knew that I wanted to be smaller, but I didn't quite know how I wanted to put it all together. So I sat down at my computer. That's always my first step when I sit down to create, and draft out basically the rough copy of my layout before I actually dive into paper, pattern papers and printing photos and that sort of thing, just so that I don't waste anything. And then here's the plan that I came up with. I decided to create a insert that flips open from the full-sized photo, and it's going to house my journaling and the extra photos that I wanted to print. I pulled out one of the 3x4-inch journal cards that came with the kit, and I trimmed off the Currently Loving, and I'm going to put it on top of this vellum that I printed my journaling on. It's going over top of 1/3 of my photo. I printed it twice so I could keep one at the full size, and then the second one I trimmed essentially in half so that I could use the white space in the photo to add my journaling. I could have printed the journaling directly on my photo. I didn't want to do that in this case just because I didn't know how much I was going to write and what I wanted to say, and I didn't know what size font I needed as well. So I just used the Word document on my computer to draft it. I printed it on just regular printer paper, and then printed it a second time on the vellum. So it's going to go over top of this portion of my photo. And right now I'm working on the hinge that is going to create the flap for this page. I'm just using another scrap piece of vellum as well to create the hinge. You could also use printer paper from your home printer as well. I have found that the thinner the paper is that you use to create a hinge, the better. It keeps it from being too bulky and closes a little bit nicer when it's thinner paper, thinner weight. So I have that glued together. I'm just trimming off the excess. On the back side of that insert that flips out is a 3x8 journal card that also came in the kit. That is what my photos, the smaller photos, will be adhered to. Now that I have those two pieces adhered together, I used red line tape too, by the way, I'm going to attach my little flip out insert to the left hand side of my photo. I'm doing that right now, and then I can move on to embellishing my page. So with it all adhered together, I'm going to go back to the vellum and attach it to the front of the photo. I want it to be really strategic with the adhesive on the front. I was worried that the adhesive would show through over top of the photo, like show through the vellum. So I'm going to add the journal card that I cut apart to the very top, and then I'm going to attach adhesive with my tape runner to the back side of it, so you don't see the adhesive at all. And then I'll do the same at the bottom of the vellum portion. But before I do that, I had to think for a second. I'm going to add a chipboard half circle that was also in the kit as well. I'm using my red line tape once again to stick it to the vellum. And once it's adhered to the vellum, I'll lift up the bottom portion, add a little bit of tape from the tape runner, and that will be hidden as well. When I have that done, I'm going to open up my little flap and I'm going to decorate the inside of the layout. There were 3 photos that I wanted to print. I printed them at 2 by 3 inches. Some of the photos that I had weren't in the right orientation. I wanted them to be, what is the horizontal? Landscape. But some of them were in portrait mode. So I printed them at 3 by 3 inches. I think 2 of the pictures were printed a little bit larger, and then I just trimmed them down to 2 by 3 inches. And they are being adhered in a column inside this little flap. And there is a little space in between the top photo and the middle photo. I decided to add one of the, what are those things called? Speech bubbles to that empty space. I also took some of the phrases that came from the Awesome Story kit and staple it to the, what is it, like plastic or acetate speech bubble from the Currently Story kit. I thought here that there might be like a protective film on it, so I was just kind of like rubbing it with my nail to see if there was anything that would come off. There wasn't. If I'm wrong, it's happened before. I could definitely be wrong, but I don't think there was a protective layer. I also used the same little trick that I did earlier with the vellum for attaching adhesive. After I stapled the phrase to the front of the speech bubble, I used my red line tape to put behind the little phrase so that it would be hidden as well, so it doesn't show through. Now that I'm done that, I'm back to the facing portion of the layout, the flip. I knew that I wanted to add a little phrase sticker from the kit on the chipboard as well. So I was just looking for a phrase that would work really well. And it has something to do with today's plans or this day or something along those lines. I can't remember. You'll see it in the close-ups at the end of the video. I attached that, and then here I'm playing with some of the chipboard that was included in the kit as well. I really was leaning towards using this number 1 for this layout. This layout, I haven't mentioned that yet, is about my daughter's, what we call her first diaversary. A diaversary is a combination of words for diabetes and anniversary. You put them together and it's diaversary. She was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes last April 9th. And so on April 9th, just last weekend, we had a little celebration with some of our close friends to celebrate our first year living with diabetes. So that is the theme behind this layout and the reason why I did this story to begin with. I'm just punching my holes into the layout base. I'm pretty well done, friends. There it is in all its glory. I'm just going to glue it to the page that comes before it in my album. And once that is done, this layout is complete. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope my layout inspired you, or I hope you found something inspiring in the video that I shared today. If you enjoyed my video, please give me a thumbs up and a like. Be sure to stick around for the close-ups. They're coming up in just a second, and I will be back again soon. Have a great day, friends.